Let me know when all systems are go, Lizzie.
We are live.
Great. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to this special meeting of the San Mateo County Harbor District, January 5th, 2021. Melanie, can you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Wiring,
Here.
Commissioner Chang Crowley,
Present.
Commissioner Matoush,
Here.
Commissioner Lorenas, Commissioner Zemke, and I hope I'm saying that right.
That's correct. I am here.
Okay.
Today's meeting has thank you, Lizzie. We have a quorum. Thank you, Melanie. We have a quorum. Today's meeting has a full agenda, and we will be swearing in our newly elected commissioners. But before we begin our business, I'd like to welcome some very special guests who will open our meeting today with poetry readings. So I extend a very warm welcome to San Mateo County's Poet Laureate, Eileen Casanetto, and local poets Joe Cottonwood and Diane Lee Moomey. Eileen was appointed as San Mateo County's Poet Laureate by the Board of Supervisors in 2018. Over the past 2 years, she has made impactful connections, working with youth and various county commissions and nonprofits to amplify the role of poetry in public discourse. Joe Cottonwood is an award-winning author and co-host of the Peninsula open mic tradition known as Lit Night. He lives in La Honda, where he built a house and raised a family under and at the mercy of giant redwood trees. Diane Lee Moomey of El Granada is an award-winning poet and artist and co-host of the long-running reading series Coastside Poetry. She teaches creative writing at Foothill De Anza Community College. It is an honor to have these local poets be part of the Harbor District swearing-in ceremony today, and Eileen will begin our readings. Eileen?
Thank you, Commissioner Rayring. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor to be part of today's reorganization ceremony. Heartfelt gratitude and congratulations, Commissioners Virginia Chang Kirali, Tom Matoush, Ed Lorenas, William Zemke, and Nancy Rayring for your leadership and stewardship of the Harbor District's resources. Much gratitude as well to the Harbor District's General Manager, Jim Pruitt. I'm delighted to be here along with my fellow poets and distinguished fellow community members, Diane Moomey and Joe Cottonwood. I would like to read this poem in honor of the Harbor District and in celebration of our county's beautiful coast side. In Half Moon Bay, there are all these halves at the edge of the sea, like half a heart of shore briefly cradling a sea star that has bravely lost its arms. When its stone coral mouth is already drained of seawater, its spine of honeycombed lime would be the last to go. At low tide, the feisty and starry flounder leaves tracks in pursuit of ghost shrimp, while the shy and snowy plover wades in and out of waves, not playing, but foraging for sand hoppers, its fortune tied with the tides, like sand and moonshine. But count on the bread to still rise on century-old bricks 6 days a week, like goodwill or good fortune inside a wave. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I wish the San Mateo County Harbor District peace, health, and success this 2021.
Eileen, thank you. That was beautiful. Joe Cottonwood, we would love to hear your poem. We need to get you unmuted.
Joe, I've sent you a request to unmute.
There we go.
I'm sorry, my cable just cut out for a second. There's a truck right down below my house I think they're working on the cable line, so I hope I can get through this. Are you ready for my poem? Is that where we're at?
Yes.
I just had a blank screen for a minute. Okay, well, I live in La Honda, and I was one of those that had to evacuate my house in August for the fires, so it was quite an experience. We got through that. The house is still standing. Then, a couple days later, no, September 9th. September 9th was the day of darkness, and we had no, really had no day. The day the smoke of the fires just blotted out the sun, and I wrote this poem. I had to drive to Half Moon Bay that day, and all the cars had their headlights on, including mine. And the sky was just almost black, and there was such fear in people's eyes. You could see it in the eyes above the mask. There was just this sense that we're all in this together. Let's forget our differences. I mean, this is in the middle of the election campaign, but it was just this sense of solidarity. If you can't count on day following night, what can you count on? You can only count on each other. Anyway, that inspired this poem, which is called One Day There Was No Day. One day there was no day. No birds sang at dawn because there was no dawn. We walked our dogs by flashlight. One day there was no sun. Through smoky veils, you could stare directly at a floating tangerine. One day there was no noon. Owls hooted, crickets chirped, porch lights never dimmed. Deer wandered the streets, blinking tears of soot. One day there was no me, no you. One day we were we, scared, seeking touch. Please, hold my hand. Okay.
Thank you, Joe. That's very evocative of that day. That was an incredible day. One that we'll never forget. Diane, you are our next poet. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Let me make sure I got my right poem up here. The setting for this poem is the bluffs above Mavericks. It was the day after Thanksgiving a few years ago when we were still able to gather in nice, big, cozy groups. Black Friday at the ocean. Some of us have chosen not to heed the siren call of myriad malls that grace our land and cluster now atop the shaggy bluffs by Pillar Point, tide pools below. Above's an opalescent sky whose tender grays I might essay with watercolor. Between the auburn wings of hunting hawks. We're families and strangers walking off debauch of yesterday, perhaps. That day of too much roasted bird, of good red wine. Some of us accompanied by hounds, plumper than they were on Wednesday. Dogs made round by treats dropped quietly beneath the crocheted edges of white tablecloths. Gifts of obligation for the season, still waiting to be found, or were bought this morning on browsers by early risers deep in second cups of coffee, or maybe bought this evening when sandy shoes are set beside the back door, laptops opened, dogs collapsed in gratitude beside the fire. Later. For now, bright thinny boards are ferried up and down the crumbling slopes, A girl in yellow tutu climbs a cypress tree, and seekers of shellfish forage on the rocks following the tide, which today will reach its nadir at 2:22 p.m. exactly.
Thank you, Diane. That was lovely. Many thanks again to you, Eileen, Joe, and Diane for joining us and offering these readings. And thank you for your work to promote awareness and heighten the appreciation of poetry and the literary arts in our communities and in the county. All the best to all of you in the year ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We will now move on to public comment. The public may directly address the Board of Harbor Commissioners for a limit of 2 minutes. And as this is a special meeting, the public is welcome to speak on any item listed on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public who would like to make comments today? Mr. Moan, I see your hand raised. No? TJ Gautier, I see your hand raised.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Ryan. I just want to congratulate Commissioner Zemke to be on the board and look forward to having a chance to meet him along with a lot of other people here on the coast side once the meetings actually open up again and we can be together in person. And want to congratulate Tom Matoush and Virginia Chang Corrali on being reelected, and to say that we all look forward to a very productive next 2 years, this next term, and want to support the Harbor District in whatever ways we can. So congratulations. We'll look forward to this meeting and the whole next 2 years. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other hands raised. Going once, going twice. All right, we'll now move on to the administration of oath of office to our newly elected commissioners. To administer the oath of office, we are honored to welcome California State Assembly member Kevin Mullen. Assemblymember Mullen was first elected to the State Assembly in 2012, and he was re-elected in 2014, 2016, and 2018. He represents California's 22nd Assembly District in San Mateo County. In 2018, Assemblymember Mullen was appointed Speaker Pro Tem for the 2016-17 legislative session, and he's part of Speaker Anthony Rendon's leadership team and regularly presides over Assembly floor sessions. Kevin, we're honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It's great to see you. Great to see everyone. And what beautiful and poignant readings we had to start our meeting and sort of setting the tone for the new year and this board that is to be sworn in today. And it's wonderful to be with all of you. I applaud all of you for stepping up and serving, some of you returning, some of you new to the Harbor District Board. But this is among the most challenging times ever for public officials of all kinds, from the federal level all the way to the local level and certainly the special district level as well. But I'm pleased to be here as we celebrate the most democratic of ceremonies, the administration of the oath of office to newly elected and returning commissioners. And in the context of what is happening in our nation, the peaceful transition of power. This simple but significant act to uphold and defend our Constitution has been repeated thousands of times throughout the United States since the November election in small towns and large cities, at school boards, and special districts. It is a reminder that our democracy is still strong and that while we may have policy differences and different approaches to governance, we still respect our elections and are staying true to our small d democratic values. And I'm glad that we in San Mateo County, no matter past controversies, can move forward for the benefit of the broader community. So with that, let me begin by administering the oath, and I believe I'm going to start with my fellow South San Francisco resident, Bill Zemke. So Bill, if I could have you raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, William Zemke,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. And next up, returning Commissioner Tom Matoush. Tom, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good to see you, Kevin.
Great to see you, sir. If I could have you raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Tom Matoush,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, sir. And finally, my good friend Virginia Chang Corrali, who invited me to do this, was the first call in to invite me. Thank you so much, Virginia. Great to see you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for being here. It's an honor.
Of course. And if I could have you raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Virginia Chang Corrali,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Virginia, and congratulations, everybody. An honor to be with all of you today.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
again, Assemblymember Mullen. Great. Well, next on the agenda, we will open up the floor to the newly sworn in commissioners, beginning with Commissioner Zemke, our newest commissioner in our newly established District 1. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you very much. First off, I'd like to thank Kevin Mullen for administering the oath of office. I appreciate it very much. And I'm also very honored to become part of this organization. I'd also like to thank Carol Matsumoto, who encouraged me to file for this position. She and I have worked together on numerous activities around South San Francisco, and I have always admired her dedication to public service and the energy that she brings to that service. Also, I have to thank my wife, of course, Jo, and she has been very supportive and understanding through this process, and she has always been by my side, and I could not ask for a better partner. I'd also like to thank the staff, Jim and his staff, for making me feel welcome and showing me around the facilities of both Oyster Point and Pillar Point. Now, this is the first venture into district elections for the Harbor District, and I know that I represent the northern District 1 of northern San Mateo County, which includes Oyster Point. But I also recognize the great value that's provided by both Pillar Point and the Oyster Point facilities. And I do look forward to serving with my other fellow commissioners and the staff of the Harbor District to fairly and effectively implement the goals of this organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. And welcoming back Commissioner Matoush. Congratulations.
Thank you. I want to sincerely say thank you to the voters of San Mateo County that helped me get reelected. I look forward to continuing to serve the Harbor District and make the Harbor District a better place when I leave than when I arrived. I'm especially excited this year that we'll be working on our strategic plan because we've got so many tasks log jam there. I would like to see some of our policies and procedures reworked. I'm excited about some of those that we've already started on. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with our administrative staff and our Harbor Patrol staff. So with that, let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Great, thank you, Tom. And last but not least, Commissioner Chankarali. Congratulations, Virginia.
Thank you. I have a few words that are just probably a little longer than what Bill and Tom said, probably because of the campaigning that I had to do during the CZU lightning fire in District 5. But let me start by saying I am humbled and honored to be reelected to a second term on the Harbor Board. With newly drawn districts, I now have the privilege of serving District 5 in southern San Mateo County, but my door will always be open to all San Mateo County residents as it has been for the last 5 years. And thinking about the last 5 years and what the Harbor Board has accomplished, most of these accomplishments have been tangible, like paying down 50% of the Harbor District's unfunded pension liabilities, paying off 100% of the Harbor District's debt, protecting the West Trail shoreline, dredging Surfers Beach, promoting ferry transportation out of Oyster Point Marina, funding capital projects for infrastructure to combat sea level rise and the king tides, improving green spaces and public facilities such as our restrooms, working with our businesses to support a vibrant local economy, hiring an outstanding general manager, and working with an amazing staff from Oyster Point to Pillar Point. We've all seen pictures of the king tides or the tired old West Trail shoreline. And while a picture is worth 1,000 words, actions speak louder than words. And I am so proud to be part of our Harbor District that took action to provide the best public services possible for San Mateo County residents. But nothing could have prepared us for the unforeseen crises of a pandemic and wildfires. While on the campaign trail for the newly formed District 5, I saw how the South Coast was ravaged by the CZU lightning fire during this dreadful pandemic. This year, extreme wildfires caused by climate change and the lack of adequate defensible space in wildland areas, among other things, hit very close to home when we knew of displaced friends and or family members from the CZU lightning fire. I felt helpless knowing about and seeing the suffering of South Coast residents and friends in a district that I was trying to win to represent. At the same time, I was kept abreast of and was heartened by the random acts of kindness from friends, neighbors, nonprofits such as Puente and Alas, and small businesses, especially restaurants that were already stretched thin throughout San Mateo County, acting with their generous hearts to help displaced residents, friends, families, and emergency responders of the wildfires. The action that the Harbor District took on August 21st to provide a safe harbor for evacuees of the CZU lightning fire was one small action to provide support. But healing as an individual and community is another matter and is easy to leave behind. But while life goes on, so does healing. So it's so poignant today that we have writers and government leaders to help with the going on and healing. To have Assembly Member and Speaker Pro Tem Kevin Mullen from South San Francisco in District 1 to administer the oath of office is a real honor, and I'll treasure that, Kevin. Thank you. To have Diane from El Granada in District 4 read about the beauty of San Mateo County's coastline reminds us of why we are blessed to have such abundance of natural open space and the rejuvenation it gives us. And to have Joe from La Honda in District 5 read about his experience and observations of the wildfires, and that one day that wasn't a day that he lived through reminds us that we are all resilient and gives me hope that we will be prepared, learn, and continue helping one another. And to have Eileen, our esteemed and fabulous poet laureate, providing her picture of the beautiful area that we live in and bringing forth Joe and Diane for their words of healing reminds San Mateo County residents, and me especially, of how lucky we are to live in our county. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here today as we continue healing and governing with heart. For me personally, I thank the Harbor District residents for their support during these two crises and their vote of confidence in me. And I'd like to also thank my friends who were kind enough to ask how I was doing during these difficult times, and my family who gave me their unwavering support during my campaign and during the times when the Harbor District did the people's work. I promise to continue working for you. Thank you for your continued support and vote of confidence.
Thank you, Virginia, and thank you, commissioners, for your participation in our little agency. Very happy to be starting this new year with all of you. And we're going to move forward into our business now, our first business with our new board. We have on the consent calendar 2 items: approving payment to Cochapitre and McCarthy Law Offices and amended compensation agreement for disposition of former redevelopment agency properties. And I will entertain a motion to accept the consent items unless any commissioner would like to pull an item.
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Melanie.
Commissioner Chan-Corrali,
Aye.
Commissioner Matoush,
Aye.
Commissioner Lorenz, Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Ryring.
Aye. We'll move on to discussion item G. We have item number 3, Enterprise Resource Planning System Project. And this is, Jim, is this your item? Oh, this is Julie's. I'm
yeah.
sorry, Julie, this is your item.
That's okay. Good afternoon, commissioners, and congratulations to Commissioners Zemke, Chan-Corrali, and Matoush. This item, staff is recommending that the Harbor Commission approve a contract with Tyler Technologies to replace the district's current financial software systems and enter into a licensing agreement for a web-based solution. Last January, staff went through a publicly advertised process, which included publication for a request for qualifications and subsequent software system presentations. A request for proposal was sent to the most qualified software companies, and after review of the proposals and further software presentations, staff recommends Tyler Technologies as the finalist. The proposed one-time costs of $173,305 include license fees, data conversion costs, implementation services, setup and project management, and some optional licenses, implementation, and services. Staff recommends that the Harbor Commission approve an increase in capital expenditure appropriations of $190,636, which includes the one-time cost plus a 10% increase in the event of unforeseen challenges. In addition, ongoing annual costs are expected to be $48,750, and those are subject to annual inflationary increases. Other expenses related to this project may include travel reimbursement for Tyler Technologies on-site work, hiring of temporary employees to backfill staff's current duties, staff overtime costs, rental of project training space, and potential hardware purchases. The district's 2021 through 24-25 capital improvement plan includes estimates for these additional costs. If required by district policies, staff would bring forward any such costs to the board for approval. In summary, staff recommends that the board authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Tyler Technologies and approve $190,636 in capital expenditure appropriations to be funded by available working capital. I would be happy to answer any questions you might have on this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Do we have a motion and a second to get this discussion started?
I'll make the motion to go ahead and get this started, so I support it.
I'll second that.
Thank you. So commissioners, the floor is open for discussion or questions for Julie. If there are no comments or questions, we do have a motion and a second on the table. Melanie, roll call.
Commissioner Matoush,
Aye.
Commissioner Lorenz, Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Ryring,
Aye.
Commissioner Chan-Corrali.
Aye.
The motion carries, and thank you. Thank you, Julie, for your report. The next item is California Consulting Grant Writing Service Contract Renewal. And John Moran, this is your item.
Good afternoon, commissioners, and congratulations to Bill, Virginia, and Tom. Glad to have you guys on board and look forward to working with you throughout the next few years. This item is for the board to receive a grant progress update presentation from the grant writing consultant, California Consulting, and for the board to consider approval of their new proposal to continue work in collaboration with the district. Like most other public entities that seek grant funding assistance, the district entered into an agreement with a grant writing consultant firm, California Consulting, for grant writing services as a full-time professional team can not only identify more grant opportunities, but also has the experience to provide the best opportunity for application success in a very competitive environment. California Consulting is the largest grant writing firm in California and have been successful in writing thousands of grant applications, securing over $1.5 billion in funding for agencies throughout the state since their founding in 2004. They have extensive experience in identifying, researching, and obtaining funding for all types of government entities. California Consulting is comprised of 26 team members and provides services to 80 public agencies across the state. The compensation terms of the contract amounted to $4,160 per month, plus reimbursement for out-of-pocket expenses, not to exceed $50,000 for the year of 2020. Staff recommends the board receive an update presentation from California Consulting explaining the grant progress this year and answer any questions regarding their new proposal, again, for $41.60 per month, plus out-of-pocket expenses, to continue efforts to identify and apply for available grants that are applicable to approved capital improvement projects. The board to consider approval of an amount not to exceed $50,000 for 2021, as was previously approved in 2020. I'd now like to introduce the California Consulting team who will provide a presentation, update presentation, and answer any questions that the board may have. We've got Steve, Jamie, and Dan here with us. Jamie, you want to start off?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John. I'd just like to start off and say Happy New Year to everyone and welcome aboard and welcome back to all of the board members. It's been an absolute pleasure working with John over the year. He's connected me to some really great staff members, and I'm happy to deliver this presentation. I'm just going to share my screen here, just kind of outlining the work that we've put in over the year with staff's assistance and basically where we see us going in the future. Let's see. Okay, are you able to see my screen okay? If someone could just nod their head. Okay, wonderful. So again, California Consulting, it's one of the leading, if not the leading, grant writing firm in the state of California. It was founded in 2004, and it's grown to become the largest at this time in the state of California, with approximately, like John said, 26 team members. I have two of the leaders of California Consulting, the owner, Mr. Steve Semlelian, he's on the line, and also Dan, who has been in contact with the district quite often. I was pleased to be assigned as the lead grant writer in January of last year. And as I've stated, I'd worked very closely with John in notifying his team of available grant opportunities, seeking all the information to put the applications together and submitting opportunities. We'll go into some of the grants submitted here shortly. Just a little background of what my duties are as they pertain to the district. I research and apply for the grant opportunities. I assist with past post-award grant management. So if the district was successfully awarded funding in prior years, a lot of times there's milestone reporting that's required, a lot of just communication with the grant organization. So I've assisted Ken Yip quite a bit in that. Analyzing existing unfunded projects. So there was a lot of research put into reviewing the district's budget, which to me is one of the finest budgets I've seen in a long time. And I've worked for quite a bit of municipal organizations, and you guys really put together a fine annual document. So kudos on that. Providing guidance for the FEMA public assistance, which was specific to this COVID environment that we're in. And also just to serve as a liaison between the district and state and federal funding agencies. So that's been my role over the year. Some of the deliveries that California Consulting provides to the district, we do a monthly grant report that's sent directly to John to distribute to team members each month. That outlines what grants have been applied for, what's in the pipeline, and what's on the horizon. It gives us the opportunity to just put on paper where we're at in case he needs to deliver that information to any staff members. And then the other thing, we meet on a monthly basis. It's typically the first Monday. I welcome anyone to participate in these meetings. In general, it's just a little roundtable discussion where we talk about, again, what's in the pipeline, some of the projects that are on the horizon that are in dire need of funding, and maybe some opportunities that present themselves to fund those. Just in general, we've submitted 9 applications over the year. We'll go through each one briefly just to let you know what project was applied for and how much was requested. But altogether, we've requested $4,510,958 dollars in 1 year. To me, that's a pretty impressive number. And while at this time we do not have a successfully awarded grant, about half of those are still pending. COVID really presented some of these federal and local agencies with, you know, some tough things to navigate on their side. So they're still in the review process. We check in often. We're that squeaky wheel saying, hey, you know, we really need these generators. Are you ready to fund us? And they're not quite there yet. So we're hoping in the new year we will be making some wonderful announcements to the board that, you know, we've got some funded projects. One of the first ones that was submitted was to the Bay Area Council. It's for the California Resilience Challenge. We requested $181,500 for the Surfers Beach and West Trail protections projects. Submitted that in February, and we were not awarded this opportunity, but it will be announced again this year. So we're preparing to refine our application and resubmit that. Another application was the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. We requested $1 million for the West Trail projects for restoration and monitoring. That was submitted earlier this year. Cal OES, they had a couple of really great opportunities for generators, and we submitted for both of them. They'll provide mobile generators and communication equipment for Oyster Point and Pillar Point Harbor. These two are still pending, but we think that we have a really high chance of being successful in both of these awards. California Natural Resources. This is an opportunity that's actually announced annually. We're not successful. However, we are refining our application and hoping to resubmit. The project for this was the RV park restroom renovation project, which I know is a top priority. So our team of researchers are constantly looking for opportunities to apply for funding for that project. So we're really hoping in the first quarter of this year that we'll get that project completely funded. The Coastal Conservancy, this is a Proposition 1 grant. We applied for $182,500 for the Surfers Beach Restoration Pilot Project. This is one that we are still awaiting a final decision on. Ocean Protection Council, one of our favorites. We've got some good connections here on the funder side, so we're really hopeful that we will be successful in receiving this grant request. We requested $794,862 for the Surfers Beach Restoration Pilot Project. We've made it to the second round successfully. So now we're kind of just waiting for that email. I'm waiting for you, John, to send me that email that says we've got it. You know, send me a W-9 and let us know where to send the funding. So one that we're really thinking positive about. Another one, the Fish and Wildlife Service. This was through the Clean Vessel Act funding, or otherwise known as CVA. We recently submitted this, and now we've been asked to submit in a statewide application. So another one still pending for $1.5 million. The project here is the pump out stations at Oyster Point. So everyone cross your fingers and toes that we'll get some good news on this one as well. Lastly, and most recently submitted, was the Cal EVIP project. And what we did here was submit 2 applications, one for charging stations at the RV park, and then another for the admin building. Each of those units will have 2 charging stations, and the total value of that request was $18,000. So another one that we're really hopeful that we'll receive. They're going to do site inspections here shortly. So very exciting news for the district to get some charging stations there and hopefully generate, you know, some traffic and and let them know, hey, you can charge your car here, just stay a while, spend some money. And then lastly is the FEMA Public Assistance Grant. This is kind of an ongoing process that we've submitted so far, a request for $105,836. Still waiting on final award. These are discretionary funds, and so we've just had to submit quite a bit of documentation to support the request. And so that's where we are with that now. We do hope that there will be more allocations for this opportunity so that the district can recover some of those COVID-related costs, which are super important at this time. And then just a quick slide on the projection. So 2021, we anticipate receiving a little shy of $2.5 million from only those previously submitted grants. So that's not including anything that we're going to submit a proposal for this year. So obviously, you know, you do the math. If let's say those opportunities are announced again and we're successful, we could potentially double this number. One of the largest projects that we're constantly looking for funding for, of course, is the Johnson Pier renovation. That's a very hefty project. And we're keeping our eyes peeled for funding for that. Let's see. Again, this just reiterates some of those that we just went over that we plan to reapply for this year. And that's it. Do we have any questions? I do have Dan Rodriguez and Steve Samuelian on the line to answer any questions, and I'll stay here as well if you have any pertaining to the grants.
Jamie, if I could just for a second, Commissioners, this is Dan Rodriguez. I'm the Director of Operations for California Consulting, and I'd like to just thank you and acknowledge John for working so closely with our team on this grant process. We greatly appreciate working with the district and value as a client. And to date, we are working on successes, and we know there's much more coming down the pike, and the expectations are very high. Jamie continues to work diligently, and our CEO is on Zoom calls every month, personally taking an active role in assisting the agency. So with that, we look forward to refining our work together to generate grant awards for the district, and want to thank you and congratulate you, commissioners, on your fine work and the work we continue to partner with in the future. Thank you.
Jamie, this is Steve Samuelian. Hopefully everyone can hear me clearly. Thank you for your presentation. I'm the CEO of California Consulting. I'd like to really thank the board and the general manager, John. You've been fantastic to work with. As John mentioned, we work with a number of public agencies across the state, and it has been our pleasure to work with a general manager like John with the skill set, ability, and astuteness to be able to really know how to work with grant writing companies. We work with a lot of agencies, and some of them know how to work with grant writing agencies. Others of them do not. Those shall remain nameless. But I can say that John really knows how to work with a grant writing company. He knows it.
And Steve, let me break in real quick just to clarify. I was interim general manager when you guys first came on. Our new general manager that I know you've been in contact with him multiple times as well, and he's everything that you just said he was. But Jim Pruitt's our new general manager now.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And I know you've been our primary contact when we have our meetings once a month. And but yes, the general manager Pruitt, absolutely. The whole team at San Mateo County Harbor District, you really know how to utilize a grant writing company for its highest and best purpose, which is you work collaboratively with us. You work as a team. We're in this together. And the communication and the dialogue and the collaborative nature of the relationship has been very positive. And so when I listened to Jamie's report, extremely impressive report, having submitted 9 applications in a 12-month period, each one of those 9 applications, highly competitive state, federal grants that are, I know, very time consuming. That's a reflection, yes, absolutely, of Jamie and her abilities and California Consulting, but it's also a reflection of your organization and your staff being able to work with us hand in hand to get us the information that we need for Jamie to be able to write those applications. So I'm very pleased with the progress that's been made so far. We look forward to another very productive year in 2021 and some major grant awards that Jamie outlined, over 2.5 million. And although we can never guarantee there's going to be awards, I think there's definitely reason for optimism, as Jamie noted, with those Cal OES grants, definitely with the FEMA COVID-19 grant. I'm very confident we're going to be receiving some great news here in the first quarter of 2021. So with that, thank you to the honorable board members, and congratulations on those elected and those re-elected. And we look forward to working with you again in 2021.
Thank you, Steve, Dan, and Jamie. I think I neglected to get a motion and a second on this. So before we go into discussion, do I have a motion and a second on this agenda item?
I'll move to approve the proposal to continue work and collaboration with the district, between the district and California Consulting, and to renew their contract.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Zemke. Do we, well, we can have a discussion or ask questions of the members from California Consulting who are here with us today.
I just have one quick comment. I just want to thank the staff for working so well and so closely with this consulting group. I think that President Reiering, I believe you kind of brought them to our attention, Nancy. And I think, you know, this supplemental resource, if you will, is very helpful for the Harbor District and helps us look for funds that we might not be able to have or find. So thank you for working so collaboratively with us, Steve, Dan, and Jamie.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, Melanie, we can have a roll call.
Commissioner Lorenz, Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Reiering,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang Crawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Matoush. Commissioner Matoush.
Aye.
Great.
Did you lose me?
Well, now you're back.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. And the motion carries. So those are all our discussion items for today. I don't see any hands raised for public comment. Sorry, I've been looking, but I haven't been mentioning that. And at this point, the board is going to be moving into closed session for a conference with legal counsel and real property negotiators. And if there's any question or comment from the public now, please raise your hand. I don't see anyone. So Lizzie, can you take us into our breakout room? And thanks again, California Consulting Group.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, okay, here we all are. And we have nothing to report from closed session. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
You know what?
moved.
Can I put you on hold for a moment?
Sure. In the meantime, I'll say that our next regular meeting will be held on January 20th at 1 p.m. You're on Zoom.
I'll move to adjourn.
Do I have a second? People want to stay around? I'll second it. Melanie, roll call.
That was
Sure.
muted.
Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Lorenz, Commissioner Ryring,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang Corrali,
Aye.
Commissioner Matoush.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Good
you,
Happy
Nancy.
New Year. See you in a
Thanks a
couple.
lot.
Congratulations,
Happy
Bill.
New Year.
All right, thanks, Virginia,
Congratulations,
Tom,
commissioners.
Nancy.
Pardon me?
Nope, thanks a lot. I enjoyed the meeting. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
you.
See you next time.
All right,
Thanks.
bye.